For the singles under the sound of my voice, you need the information this morning, because the home that you are about to go and form, the home you are living, the home you were raised in, has a big influence in you. If you are raised in a dysfunctional home, if you are raised in an abused home, if you are raised in a loving home, it is time you need the information so that you can use this information to form a home of your home rightly. And for the married, understand that a problem known is half solved. The problem that you are having in your marriage, don't be surprised that you brought it individually from your separate families. You were raised in a family for about 21 to 25 years to 30 years, and now you are married for 2 years, you are having problem. You think a man that you have met for like 3 years can now have a bigger influence in you over a family that you have known for like 27 years? No. Unless you are deliberate to change certain things. You see, hurt people. People that are hurt, they tend to hurt others. People that are damaged, they tend to damage others. If you are raised in a dysfunctional home, if you are raised in an abusive home, there is a high probability that the home you are going to form is going to be a dysfunctional or abused home if you are not careful. You see, if you see a lady, a married woman, a lady that is raised in a home where the mother is having man friend, boyfriend, for whatsoever reason, that the father is an abusive man, the father is an irresponsible man, he doesn't bring money, he doesn't take care of the home, and my children must go to school, that's why I sleep around, I have 1 or 2 boyfriends just to help me. A lot of women are doing it. If you see a lady raised in such a home, she will most probably do the same in her own marriage. If you see a lady raised in a home where the father is having side chicks, that lady, the probability of having trust issue in her marriage, even if she's married to Jesus Christ, is very, very high. Even if she's married to a very faithful man, because she grew up for 22 years, for 25 years, for 27 years under a father that is always cheating on the mom, and she has even caught the father with her own friends. You see, when she's not married, she will always suspect the husband. The day the husband comes back from work later, and truthfully his phone died and he couldn't reach her, and he came back around 11, you see that home is in trouble that day. There is fight, there is problem. Why? She has trust issue. She was raised in a dysfunctional home. If you see any lady in an abusive relationship, she never married, but the boyfriend is slapping her face, and the friends are saying, leave this guy is cheating on you, this guy is beating you, and she said, I will leave him, and she goes back to him. Go and check her upbringing. You see, she grew up in a home where the dad is always beating the mother, and the mother is always normalizing it to them. That is how men are. You just have to take them like that. So she has normalized it that the man will have to slap her sometimes. If such a lady dates a guy that is not beating her, she will jack him one day and say, slap me, are you not a man? I saw on internet one day and a lady says, I left my boyfriend because he doesn't slap me when I do wrong things. He's not a man. She came from a dysfunctional home. And for the men, if you see a guy that the father is always carrying babes, the probability that he will cheat in his marriage is very high. Have you not noticed something about the Americans? In America, most of these young men in America, especially in the rap and all those things, they were raised by their mothers alone. The father, a lot of overmurdered men in America. That's why they are not often in the right places. Fathers bring discipline, mothers bring wisdom and love. But when you don't have the father to bring the discipline, they have love, they have wisdom, but they are not disciplined. Now you see these guys, they eulogize their mothers. They hate their fathers for dumping their mothers and leaving her. The mother has to do like 3, 4, 5 jobs. They always say it in their raps. They say it in their conversation when they eulogize their mom. But you know that most of them, 95% of them by data, they repeat what they hate their father doing. They impregnate ladies too and they don't stay. And they continue the circle. Why? A hurt person will hurt people. You see, guys that are raised in homes where their mothers always stood up to their fathers, they loved it when their mothers were doing it. When the mother would defend the children, would defend the home. No, you can't be doing this. Talk back at the father. Then, see, most of those guys, they loved it then, but when they start dating or when they marry, they are always combative. When they are now married, they don't want a wife like that will stand up to them. So even if the girlfriend or the wife just says, dear, we shouldn't do what? I am the man, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the one wearing trousers. Your trouser is not a mate. I'm the man, I'm the man. You see, they are always combative because they saw their mother. They were saying, I have a strong mother. My mother stood for us, but they don't want a woman that will stand against them like that. Dysfunctional. Many don't realize that the way you are dating, the way you are behaving in your marriage, go and look at your parents. Many think it's like an abuse or it's a fact. I've told us that what we are sharing this month is like an open wound. It will want to bring like shame to you. Don't be ashamed. Because the devil will want you to deny it. No, it's not. You will just close your eyes and say, no, it's not in my family and it's in your family. You see, the devil exposes your flaws to shame you. God exposes your flaw to help you become better. But they both expose what? Your flaws. The devil will expose your flaws to the public to bring shame into your life. God exposes your flaw to you so that you can work on it and learn and become better. But the devil will want to now camouflage God exposing your flaw to you to bring that shame so that you will go into self-denial. So 4 major types of marriages that we'll be learning this morning. Number 1 is what I call the accidental marriage. Hallelujah, somebody. Number 1, accidental marriage. Accidental marriages are marriages that are not planned. These are marriages that came about as a result of circumstances, not as a result of choice. The man or the woman, they didn't make the choice to get married to their partner. Situation forced them together. 2 major situations that forces this kind of marriage. Number 1 is pregnancy. We all know that one. When you are dating the babe, yes, you like her, but you are not ready. Or you don't even want to marry her, but you just like her for certain things. And she gets pregnant and one complication gets to the other and the family say you must marry. And you have to end up marrying. Number 2 cause, prominent cause of accidental marriage is when a rich spouse falls in love. You see, when a rich babe falls in love with a poor guy, the guy might not like her. She might be an ugly girl, but the father get money. So the guy will be what? This one where the girl get money, man, marry him. At least my life go better. No love. No choice, but circumstance. That, I see you, sharp, you are lucky, oh. Or tell your daughter, I love you. Marry quick. She said she won't marry you. But now, voila. When a rich guy is ugly, his short brother in church, when he talks, spit comes from his out from his corner of his mouth. You can't stand him, but you like his G-Wagon. And he's telling you that we are getting married. We are going to Dubai for honeymoon. We will go to America. Can you take off from your work for just 2 weeks? We just go to America. We spend some time. From there, I think we can go to Paris. If you can make it 3 weeks from your work, you say, I will resign. If they don't give me the leave, I will resign. Go London and Paris and US, I will resign. You see, when a rich spouse proposes and you don't love, what do? This is what brings about what is called accidental marriage. Now, the major problem in accidental marriages is that they are devoid of love. There is no love in accidental marriage. You see, a typical example of accidental marriage is the marriage between Jacob and Leah. It was a marriage of circumstance. Jacob was not laboring for 7 years for Leah. Every day that he was in the field, every day that he was carrying the sheep in the cold, in the sun, in the dust, he was doing it for Rachel. Now on the wedding day, after he is drunk, Leah is laid by his side. He woke up in the morning after consummating the marriage and discovered that it was Leah, not Rachel, and there was no love for him, for the Leah. Leah, at that time, you cannot say no to your father. Your father said, go into the bedroom with a man that you are getting married tonight. Father, I've never talked with this guy. I see him every day for 7 years, always discussing with Rachel. I think they are in love. And the father says, shut up. This is my decision. The first daughter needs to get married before the younger one. Go into the room and you have become a wife by force. And do you know that Liam was married to Jacob for donkey years, but it was a loveless marriage? What are the negative things in accidental marriages? In 1 Corinthians chapter number 13, in verse 1 to 3, the Bible says that you might be speaking in the tongues of angels and in the tongues of men, but when you lack love, you are nothing but a noisome cymbal, a clanging cymbal. You are a noise maker. So the first thing that you see, the first major symptom you see in a loveless marriage, which is an accidental marriage, is that abrasive words are always used. Words that breaks down, words that destroy, words that cut you down. You see, if you are dating a loveless guy, a guy that doesn't love you but loves your beauty, that loves how you speak, loves your father's money, you see, any little mistake you do, he uses words to cut you to his supposed size. When you see people in a loveless marriage, is the kind of thing you see ladies. You know, you ladies can talk very well. It's the kind of thing you see with Michal and David. The second marriage of Michal and David was a loveless marriage.